You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're plunging into the complex, ever-shifting world of cybersecurity. We're going beyond just the tech, looking at the critical intersection of, human behavior, cutting-edge AI, and even geopolitics in this high-stakes landscape. Our mission, as always, is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from our sources, in this case, a fascinating expert interview and a recent industry report. Basically, to give you that essential shortcut to being truly well-informed. And it's a crucial deep dive indeed. Because while technology forms the backbone, the core of cybersecurity, what often goes unsaid but is profoundly true is that many problems organizations face could be drastically reduced if they simply fostered a strong cybersecurity culture.
A strong culture.
And this isn't just about, educating kids. It's about adults, the very people managing critical systems, integrating security into their daily, professional, and frankly, personal lives.
Exactly. And our sources today deliver incredibly compelling insights on this. We've got a deep dive into an interview with Ángel López, founder of Sofistic and also the CIO for the company 480. He's truly a reference point in the cyber world. And we'll also be extracting key takeaways from Sofistic's own 2024 Cybersecurity Trends Report, which offers a fresh, data-driven snapshot. Hot off the press, really. So, to kick things off, let's zoom in on Ángel López's core philosophy. Cybersecurity isn't just about firewalls and software. Fundamentally, it's about culture, awareness.
Yeah.
The emphasis here is squarely on human behavior. It's about a growing consciousness that starts with each of us.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
This continuous discussion about cybersecurity, it makes us all more conscious.
Yeah.
And that awareness extends far beyond the workplace. It impacts our roles as parents, for instance, in fostering correct digital education for our children. What's vital is that organizational cybersecurity education should empower individuals to apply these lessons in their daily lives, making them more secure all around.
That's a powerful point. It suggests a real shift in responsibility, doesn't it? Moving beyond just, that's IT's problem, to everyone's daily practice.
Absolutely.
Now, Ángel López isn't just an observer. He's a significant figure, brings a wealth of experience, particularly from banking and critical infrastructure. Areas where cybersecurity has been top priority for a long time.
Absolutely. And Sofistic, the company he founded, actually started with a hyper-specialized focus. We're talking areas like cryptography, offensive cybersecurity, really cutting-edge stuff.
Okay.
But here's the twist. The market in their home region, Castellón and Valencia, it simply wasn't ready for that. There wasn't the immediate demand for such niche services back then.
Right. This is truly a fascinating entrepreneurial dilemma. You've got this innovative, cutting-edge thing, but the market isn't there yet. How do you pivot when your specialty isn't selling?
Well, it forced a strategic pivot around 2013, 2014. They shifted their focus towards sectors like banking and critical infrastructure. Precisely because those companies were fully aware of their risks. They were actively seeking specialized solutions. This also led to internationalization efforts, things like their involvement with the Rutted Congress in Panama, which helped them find more receptive markets.
So looking abroad.
Exactly. Their overarching goal, as Ángel puts it, shifted. It went from initially offering niche services to a broader, maybe more essential mission, to evangelize and raise awareness about fundamental cybersecurity problems, effectively creating the market and demand they initially sought, you could say.
Evangelize. That's an interesting word choice. So it's about striking that balance then, providing those hyper-specialized solutions where they're desperately needed, but also making the broader concepts digestible, understandable for everyone else.
Exactly. It depends a lot on the type of interlocutor you're dealing with. Companies that already have a CIO, a Chief Information Security Officer, they naturally need deep technical solutions. They speak that language. But for many other organizations, where maybe a general IT manager or even a non-IT person might be responsible, they need simpler, more digestible information. The approach has to be tailored. You can't just, throw jargon at them.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting gears a bit from the foundational human element and cultural shifts. Let's zoom in on what the data tells us right now. Sofistic's latest 2024 report, straight from their Security Operations Center, gives us a real-time pulse check. So, what does this all mean when we look at the numbers?
The report offers some truly fascinating insights. First, the good news. There's been a significant reduction in the number of critical alerts.
Okay, that sounds positive.
It is very positive, because these are the alerts most easily exploited for unauthorized access. They're the big gaping holes. The reason: companies are proactively engaging in security audits, penetration testing, ethical hacking.
Being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. To correct these critical business vulnerabilities, they're focusing their efforts where it matters most.
That sounds like genuine progress, then, a tangible win in the fight. But in cybersecurity, there's always a twist, isn't there? Usually some but coming.
There often is. And here's the critical paradox. While those major threats are down, we're seeing a surge in low and medium alerts compared to previous years.
Low and medium. Why is that a problem if the critical ones are down?
Because these less critical issues are often left unaddressed. People think, it's just low priority. Think of them as tiny cracks in a dam. Individually, they seem harmless.
Right.
But collectively, and with the right context, they become the weakest link. Ignoring them is inviting disaster. Because as the report notes, an alert that is not so critical, so sensitive, so important, if the right context is given, could perhaps be exploited.
So it's not the gaping holes we necessarily need to fear most now, but maybe the slow, insidious erosion from 1,000 tiny cracks that we ignore. That's a truly uncomfortable thought for any business leader. And there was an unexpected trend related to attack timing, too, wasn't there? Something about weekends.
Yes, very interesting indeed. Contrary to intuition, what you'd normally expect, the report shows a decrease in attacks during weekends and holidays.
Really? That's usually prime time for attackers when staffing is low.
Exactly. Attackers typically exploit these periods of low activity. We might suggest possible reasons. Perhaps increased awareness leading to less exposed surface area. For example, employees actually shutting down devices, or fewer non-essential systems being left active over the weekend.
Okay, that makes sense. Better basic hygiene.
Could be. However, here's the critical caveat. The few attacks that there are might be much more targeted, making them potentially much more dangerous. It's a case of quality, or perhaps malice, over quantity.
So fewer attacks, but potentially deadlier ones? That's a chilling trade-off. Demands a truly sophisticated defense. But if the threats are getting sharper, how efficient are our defenses becoming? What does the report say about their SOC efficiency?
Well, the report notes a reduction in the raw number of alerts received by their SOC, but, and this is key, an increase in the number of cases.
Cases meaning actual incidents needing action.
Exactly. Issues that require actual management and investigation. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it implies systems are becoming more refined in sending alerts. Fewer false positives.
Cutting through the noise.
Precisely. Allowing for a more efficient focus on the real threats that genuinely need attention. It means the analysts aren't chasing ghosts as much.
Okay. Speaking of sophisticated defense in this ever-evolving landscape, it's impossible to talk about the cutting edge without bringing up the undeniable elephant in the room, artificial intelligence. AI. How is AI reshaping this battle for both attackers and defenders?
AI plays a powerful dual role. Certainly, it's a double-edged sword. On the defensive side, Sofistic started using AI very early, actually, back in 2017. They face a practically unmanageable volume of security alerts, especially in banking and critical infrastructure.
Just too much data for humans alone.
Way too much. So AI became essential to filter, identify patterns, correlate things. Now, AI is simply indispensable for effective defense. But what's fascinating, or perhaps worrying, is that on the offensive side, attackers are clearly using AI daily, enhancing their capabilities significantly, which means defenders absolutely must leverage it too.
Yeah.
It's an arms race, plain and simple.
And we're seeing this play out in real time with things like phishing, aren't we? The report had some very telling stats on that. It's a real cat and mouse game.
Absolutely. The report shows more users open phishing emails. About 24% visualize them, they look at them.
Okay, so they're getting open more.
Yes, but Mercifully, fewer users actually click the malicious links or enter credentials. There's a 17% reduction there.
That's a paradox. How can they be better written but less effective?
Well, the theory is AI makes these phishing emails very well written, probably very targeted, and free of the old clues, the deficient language or spelling mistakes that used to give them away. They look much more legitimate now.
Harder to spot.
Much harder. So the fact that fewer people are falling for the final step, clicking or giving info, suggests a little more awareness from users, which is genuinely encouraging. It's like we're finally starting to learn to look both ways before crossing the digital street, even when the traffic looks normal.
That's a great analogy. So individual vigilance is making a difference, even against AI-powered attacks. That's good news. But looking ahead, what's on the horizon for 2025 in this age of AI? What's the report flag as the next big risk?
The biggest new risk identified specifically for 2025 is more risks of information leaks by employees testing different types of AI.
Employees using AI tools, how does that cause leaks?
It happens when employees, often trying to be productive or just curious, use new AI tools, maybe online chatbots or analysis tools, and they upload confidential company data or private customer information to these external, untrusted AI platforms. They might not understand the risks, where that data goes, who sees it.
Oh, I see. Feeding sensitive internal info into public AI model.
Exactly. It raises huge questions about corporate policies, training, user education. We really emphasize the need for monitoring with more effectiveness, probably using AI itself, ironically, to detect these evolving insider threats. It's a whole new frontier.
Right. Okay, let's talk motivation. It's always been said that the main objective of cybercrime is economic, money, whether it's theft, ransom, disruption for profit. But how deep does that run? And does that desire for profit maybe, just maybe, put a ceiling on how destructive these attacks get? Like, they don't want to break the whole system they profit from.
That's a candid assessment is needed here. The attacking side earns much more than the defensive side. That's just a fact. Those of us in defense are often driven by pure ethics, not by money, frankly. Now, whether attackers control their actions to avoid causing an Armageddon that would destroy capitalist societies, I'm not entirely convinced.
You don't think they hold back?
I'm not sure they consciously do it to preserve this system. I believe we see attacks come in waves or surges, and sometimes these are clearly financed by different geopolitical actors. It's a very murky, interconnected world out there. It's not always just about pure profit.
So it's not always just simple criminal gangs trying to make a buck. It's also about what you might call specialized cyber mafias groups focused just on getting initial access, who then sell that access to ransomware operators.
Yes, that specialization exists.
It's often dragnet phishing, right? Not personal, just a business transaction in that criminal underworld.
Exactly. And we distinguish these from geopolitical attacks. Those are usually much more surgical, highly focused, and indeed not aimed at global collapse because, as you implied, everything is interconnected. A crisis in one major country impacts everyone, including the aggressor state eventually. Our SOCs, our security operations centers, observe very interesting things during periods of geopolitical tensions.
Like what?
Like sudden attacks in unexpected countries, maybe as tests or distractions, or impressive surges of attacks targeting specific sectors' energy, finance aligned with political events. It's a complex, multi-layered threat landscape. Keeps us on our toes, constantly analyzing.
Given this intense, fast-moving landscape full of different actors with different motives, what role does automation play in the SOC? It sounds like human analysts would just be completely overwhelmed otherwise.
Automation is absolutely key now, essential, because many clients are demanding really aggressive response times. For instance, maybe 1 hour for containment and mitigation.
Not just opening a ticket, but actually stopping the bleeding.
Exactly. Taking decisive action that's often humanly impossible without automation handling the known stuff. Automation deals with the known attacks, the recognized patterns, preventing the human teams from being completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume. It also contributes significantly to basic cyber hygiene by helping to automatically identify and sometimes close unnecessary open ports, things like RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol. These open RDP ports are often critical vulnerabilities that attackers absolutely love to exploit for initial access. Automation helps shut those doors.
Right, cleaning up the easy entry points. Okay, these individual and organizational challenges, they clearly scale up. national level, international level. And we saw a fascinating example of this recently. You mentioned Ángel López participated in a special meeting at La Moncloa, that's the Spanish prime minister's official residence, for context, discussing increased defense and cyber defense spending. So how does a nation effectively, build its cyber muscle on the world stage?
Well, the conclusions from that Moncloa meeting were quite clear. Spain needs to leverage its existing talent, and there's a lot of it, in its own products, things with Spanish intellectual property. The goal is multifaceted. Protect national infrastructure, obviously, but also sell these solutions internationally. And importantly, meet NATO's 2% defense spending target, which now crucially includes cyber defense. The emphasis was really on the tremendous talent available in Spain and the capacity to generate high-quality, internationally competitive cybersecurity products.
So it's about nurturing local talent and products, boosting them, elevating them to a global standard. What about the broader evolution of the Spanish and European cybersecurity market? Can it truly compete, especially on a global stage dominated by, say, American or Israeli tech giants who've been at it for a long time and have huge investment?
That's the key challenge. We absolutely need to be more capable of demonstrating that the Spanish and European brand has the same capabilities, that our tech is just as good as the American or Israeli offerings. If we can successfully demonstrate that, it will attract more national and foreign investment, which then fosters growth in companies, products, and talent. It's about valuing and showcasing what's already here on our own soil, building that reputation.
That makes perfect sense. But what are the real practical challenges when these Spanish or European companies try to internationalize, to expand beyond their home borders? It can't be easy.
No, it's definitely not easy. There are several difficulties. For one, cultural affinity plays a big role. It's often easier to expand in Ibero-America, Central America, South America, due to shared language, shared cultural similarity.
Okay, a natural starting point.
Yes. The U.S. circuit, however, presents tremendous difficulty. It's a tough nut to crack. Partly this is perception. Sometimes Spanish or European products are perceived incorrectly, mind you, as inferior in quality. This perception needs active changing.
Fighting stereotypes.
Exactly. But also the sheer ambition and the capacity for capital injection in the U.S. market, it's just on a completely different scale. Hard to compete with that level of funding sometimes. And culturally, within Spain itself, there's sometimes a unique challenge. It's occasionally referred to as caínitas.
Caínitas.
What does that mean? It refers to an internal dynamic where, ironically, if a neighbor succeeds, not everyone celebrates, there can be a reluctance to champion local successes, sometimes even leading to a preference for foreign technologies over excellent homegrown ones. This kind of internal mindset needs to shift for national tech to truly flourish.
Wow. So cultural and market-based challenges. What about institutional support? Beyond that Moncloa meeting, how can the government genuinely help these companies grow?
Well, I believe institutional support should go beyond just handing out money, although investment is crucial. The administration itself could be a powerful first client, a reference customer, providing feedback, real-world use cases, helping local tech develop and refine their products based on actual government needs.
Using government procurement to boost local industry.
Precisely. This type of crucial support, using the administration as a launch customer, is thankfully starting to happen. And of course, as mentioned, significant investment is required. Making cybersecurity technologies truly competitive internationally, developing new products in this field demands substantial continuous capital. You can't do it on a shoestring.
So to recap this deep dive then, we've covered a lot of ground. We've explored this vast, interconnected cybersecurity landscape, from the fundamental human element, the critical role of a strong cybersecurity culture, through the evolving threats revealed in Sofistic's 2024 report, the good news and the bad, to the double-edged sword of AI, the economic drivers, the geopolitical angles, automation and the SOC, and finally, these ambitious national strategies for cyber defense and the challenges of competing globally. It's a staggering amount to consider.
It truly is a complex scenario, and it requires a necessary alignment. You need investment, technology, talent, and defense policies all pulling in the same direction to meet the immense challenges of our time.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a static field. Vigilance is paramount, really, across every single layer of society.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener, thinking about all this? Given the increasing sophistication of AI-driven attacks, those super realistic phishing emails, and the new, very real risks posed by employees, which could be any of us experimenting with AI tools and potentially leaking data, The individual's role in cybersecurity has never been more critical. It feels like it's becoming everyone's job now. The ongoing challenge isn't just about the machines anymore, is it? It's about continuous human vigilance and responsible tech usage. We're all on the front lines now, so maybe ask yourself, how's your cyber hygiene looking? And how carefully are you interacting with emerging technologies like AI in your daily life, both at work and at home? Something to mull over until next time.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.